Hello, friends. Hello, friends. A tradition unlike any other.
Oh, my goodness. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
There it is! Adam Scott, a life changer.
Mashed potato!
Here it comes.
Our friends at Cobra have introduced the new King LTDX irons designed to deliver next level distance and forgiveness. Available in both variable and one length offerings, the LTDX irons combine an intelligent power core weighting design with a thinner and larger power shell face, creating a superior choice for the perfect blend of forgiveness, high launch, excellent feel, and longest total distance, which is what we're all about. For more information on the LTDX family of products, visit cobragolf.com.au or drop into your nearest golf shop.
This is the 19th Tee podcast. Drudes with you for tonight's episode. First event of the Aussie season, done and dusted, sitting down the road, really, and across the screen from me is the winner of the WA PGA Championship, good friend of the pod, Dave Micheluzzi. Mika, first and foremost, welcome to the podcast again, and a massive congratulations on your victory yesterday in Cal.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
Must have been a nice feeling on 18, I imagine. It was. We'll get into the details of it, but yeah, it was quite the day out in Kalgoorlie. I'm sure 18, putting that final putt in must have been a great feeling.
100%. It's a day that I've been dreaming about for a very, very long time. Yeah, everyone was saying it was a long time coming, and probably had a little bit more confidence than what I did in myself. So I'm first event out. Can't win them all if you don't win the first. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
Well, I'll raise a beer to you, so because I know you didn't get too many in last night, but. I mean, first professional victory on the Aussie Tour. I guess, like, can you kind of just sum it all up for us? What the last sort of 24 hours has been like? Obviously, you're now back in Perth, so it is a bit of a whirlwind. Like, can you just maybe take us through that walking off 18 green and the last 24 hours anyway?
Yeah, well, all right. What do you think? Yeah, well, that part went in. Also, we'll go back to the 18th tee, because this is actually it's very interesting what happened, because I didn't know what the scores were. I had no idea. There was no leaderboards out there. So when I missed that putt on 17, I thought I was either square or one behind.
Mm-hmm.
So it forced me to hit driver down the last to try and make birdie. Just slotted it. And then hit a nice second shot, and pitch shot was amazing. And then hold the putt, and then from after that was some crazy shit. It was so cool. Tomo came out with the champagne, and all the boys drenched me with the water, and I was soaked for about the next 2 hours. I didn't get a chance to. Well, I did get the chance, but not for a couple hours to call back home and call the girlfriend and call all the boys and all that. So. Yeah, it was just mayhem. Like, everyone take me here, take me there, take me here. And you got to do this, got to do that. Oh, cool. Yeah, everything was just. It went. I enjoyed it as much as I could, which was like, obviously you can kind of get dragged in with all the media stuff and not really embrace it, but it's slowly starting to sink in. Like, I still don't believe it. Like I was on the chipping green this afternoon, and Tom Power came up to me. He's like, "Well done," and all that. And like, I was just like, "This is like this has got to be a joke, because it doesn't feel real that I've won." Just with the way like. As a golfer, you remember the bad shots and not really the good shots. Like, I hit a lot of good shots yesterday, but like the putt on 17, the putt on 11, or the chip shot on 11, the bunk shot on 6, like all that kind of stuff. It kind of felt like I didn't win, but like at the same time, like I won, and it it feels weird. And I haven't won for almost 5 years. So yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's slowly starting to sink in. It was on the radio this morning, and yeah, like having a chat, and it's just like, wow, oh my god, like actually, I have one. Like this is starting to get it's starting to feel cooler and cooler. Every minute, starting to feel better and better, and yeah. And then now all the media stuff's coming in at the tournament. You got to be. We all like to do this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll try. Yeah, okay. I've got it. But no, it's been amazing. A good one for the team. It was just it's been a pretty rough. We talked about it a lot on the podcast with with how hard COVID was and how we couldn't go 5Ks outside of our house, and lucky enough we could practice a little bit, but practice and playing are two completely different things. And yeah, just so happy that like I couldn't share the victory with obviously close family and friends, but like with the boys that drenched me on the 18th green, like all my close mates on tour. It was pretty cool. It was awesome.
So, and you mentioned before that you didn't get really the opportunity to go out and celebrate. Obviously, back in Perth now, so you've had all of that sort of stuff. So, have you got the trophy with you, or do you have to give that back? What's the go with all of that? And I guess were there any sort of celebrations?
I gave them the trophy because I don't trust myself. I can't even look after myself. I'm not gonna look after however old trophy. I don't want to have that responsibility of breaking or anything. I've got no room in my luggage, so I'm just like, you guys keep it. Like it's all good. What was the other question? Sorry.
Did you have any sort of celebrations? You go out for dinner, or what was the go?
No, not really. So I got back. We had a host family for the week. So I got back, had a shower because that champagne stunk like shit. And yeah, I was just on the phone with the boys back home. I called my parents and my manager and all that at the golf course. And so yeah, kind of just chilled. Kind of just looked at all the notifications on my phone. It was just ridiculous. It said like it was like just like when I looked at my phone, it was because I have my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter all in like one thing. So like it has the total number, and that was up to like 300 and something. It was something stupid. And then I looked at it again. So I didn't open any of it. I looked at it again. And it was at like 600 and something. I'm like, oh my god. And then I had like 100 new messages on like iMessage and yeah, and like I'm trying to reply to as many people as I can. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because obviously like I've got to play this week. I've got to
yeah.
Obviously not like as much as I want to embrace the win as much as I can and like either watch what I did and all that. I've got another week to focus on, and it's a long season ahead. So yeah, hopefully we can keep this going. But yeah, it was a wild night, and then we got the flight out at about. We flew out at about 8, got in at about 9:30, and then made a massive Uber Eats deal of GYG and I shouted at the boys. I'm like, all right, boys, I've got dinner. What do you guys want? I don't really drink, so a Coke was good enough for me. It was a long day.
It certainly was. It was a tough day. It was tough. It was a tough day in terms of conditions as well, mate. 40k an hour gusts from all reports out there. A bit hard to see on the television, but it did look quite windy, and it can be a warm wind out in Kalgoorlie as well. I mean, can you talk us through playing through some of that? Obviously, earlier in the week, it was clearly easier in terms of the wind and stuff, but it's not really what you want in the final round, just to cop 40k an hour winds out in Kalgoorlie.
I loved it. I loved it. Well, I loved it, but then at the same time, the greens, it was hard to putt on. The ball striking wise, it just forced you to hit good shots. It was like kind of like scrap the technique. It was. I've been at home all winter, and it's been windy, it's been cold, like those, and playing at Peninsula and at Cranny, greens are lightning. It felt as I was as calm as I could be with the conditions. Like I didn't blame the conditions once. Out there, for like oh, this is too hard or anything like that. Like obviously I missed some parts where the wind affected it, but that's like it happens to everyone, so it's fine. But that's hot northerly. So it was cool going into that round, going like you have to dig really deep, because literally anything can happen. But what I saw on the leaderboard, when I heard about the leaderboard, I saw it through 9, and then what I heard about the leaderboard on 13th tee, like there was so many people, and I was just like, oh, like, and I think they said I was like either 8th or 9th or something like that. When I dropped back to 12, and then I made that birdie straight up. So, but yeah, it was literally those final few holes. I was saying it to the boys this morning. Like, I didn't miss a shot. Like from 13 onwards, I think the only shot I kind of missed was on 14, and it actually wasn't that bad. I just went to the middle of the green. It was like 40 feet away. That was the only shot that was really kind of offline. Which was pretty cool. Like under those like circumstances, like you have to step up and hit the shots, and I did that. And I'd love to know how. It just kind of I relied on all the practice I've done and how much I play, just to kind of play with the conditions and not against it.
Well, you cruised through that back portion down the stretch, as you said, 4 birdies in the last 6, 3 of the last 4 holes you birdied as well. I mean, I do want to ask you about the putt on 17 though. that was tough. I saw obviously you were pretty animated afterwards as well, which, was that just a misread? Was it, maybe just, didn't give it enough, I don't know, thought? Like what happened there?
Yeah, it was kind of a mystery. It was a bit of everything, because I saw Phelps was on a different angle, and he's really snapped, but he was close. He was close to my line, so like I'm like, okay, this is going to break a little bit, and it was pumping downwind, and that pin was literally on like the side of Everest. Like it was ridiculous, and yeah, just when I took it back, like the wind obviously like pushes your putter. Yeah, I just blocked it a little bit, and then obviously with the wind, the ball just hammered. Yeah, obviously, like you don't want to have a 2-footer miss that and have a 4-footer coming back, but it was straight uphill into the wind. I'm like, just put a good stroke on it. I didn't take too much time over the third putt, because I didn't want to think about it that much, because I was just like, it's just a 4-footer. I hit those putts in every day. It's not nothing's changed. Yes, we're in a tournament, but it's still a 4-footer inside left, and just hit it. So hit it, went in dead center. But that final hole, I was saying to the boys this morning, it was weird, because I thought I was either square or one back going into the last hole, and end up being 2 in front. But I've thought about that. I thought about that tee shot the week before WA PGA, and was thinking like, what shot would I hit if I was leading that event? And I like, when you think of something and like you keep thinking about it, and you really shit yourself, like you're overthinking. You're like, oh, like fuck, like I'm like sorry, I'm so anxious about it and all that. When I got onto the tee, the fairway, instead of the fairway being so narrow, the fairway like felt really wide. And one of the holes at Cranbourne where I play at, par 4 16th. It's like a dogleg right, and it goes downhill a little bit. And I hit this I hit the shot every shot every drive I hit down there. It's like a low bullet like top spinning fade. It's a weird shot. It kind of comes out of the toe. It's weird, but it always works. I don't miss it on that hole. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm on the 16th hole at Cranbourne. This is like, I do this every day.
Yeah.
Hit it, and it was perfect. Oh, cool. So then I found out I was 2 shots in front. So I'm like, okay, I need it. Right's no good. Hit up the left. It was in a decent spot, into the wind, out of the left. And it was funny because then the pitch shot, the way the wind was, the chipping green at Cranbourne, the normal wind is into out the left. And I'm like you couldn't, like, I couldn't ask for a better hole to like be as comfortable as I was, because it was like, I've hit this shot before. I know exactly what it's going to do. Yeah, it's going down a tier, but I'm like, if I land it all the way down there, it's going to spin. If I land it on the downslope, it's still going to spin. And then if I land it short, it will skip up. And then, because if I land short, it means it's coming out a little bit flatter. It will skip down to the downslope. It will dribble down the slope, and it'll be fine. And I'm just like, if I don't, like, how's this not going to be inside like 10 feet? That's literally what I thought. I'm like, and over the shot, I smirked. Like, I don't, because the I've seen the footage of the pitch shot. If the cameraman was more to the, like, down the line, you probably would have seen the smirk on my face, because I'm like cranny.
Yeah.
and I hit it, and it came out, man. It was one of the weirdest feelings I've ever had on a golf course, where stuff like that should be incredibly hard, but it for some reason, with the shape of the hole, the wind, it all just matched. It was like, it just made me so relaxed. And then the final part, I think I had like 4 putts to win. So
yeah,
I just dribbled it in. The thing was not going 2 foot past or 3 foot past. But yeah, it was just, it's a weird one. It's cool talking back about it. Like, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So the pitch shot was an interesting one, actually, because obviously they just sort of shown the 2 tiers that you had to come down, multiple ways that you can play it. The camera work actually wasn't that great, because we didn't see where the pitch shot actually landed. Did you fly it? Yeah. Did you fly it down to the bottom tier?
Apparently, it landed on the downslope.
Okay, because it's still checked up.
So
very,
it was
very well.
One of those. Yeah, it was one of those 3, like, the 3 options that I explained before. Like, if I landed all the way down, it's going to spin. If I land on the downslope, it's still going to spin. And if I landed just short, it should skip up and then spin onto the downslope. It would have been cool if they actually recorded it from the other side.
Yeah.
And actually seen the ball, like, but apparently from what the boys told me, that apparently it looked pretty sick. So
that's
yeah,
all that matters.
Yeah, that's it.
They also mentioned, because you took the rangefinder out to measure that short little chip shot, which, you know, having caddied for you, was something not unusual that I'd seen you do it for 4 days. And the commentators were like, "Oh, I'm not really sure why he's getting a yardage here." And I knew that you'd be doing it because you wanted the perfect number. You would have hit your 60-degree wedge as well, I reckon. And and you must have. So I guess probably the question is the short game, right? You're really dialed into the number, I guess. Ultimately, having seen you do it for 4 days, you're like, yep, we got 30, 40 meters here, and it's still the same club every time, but you're just swinging at a different speed ultimately, right?
Yeah. You control flight with tempo, swing, spin, and all that kind of stuff. And that's where when you got the yardage, like, if that shot was straight downwind, obviously the shot would change, and you'd probably want to land it shorter, have just dribble over and roll down. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not a commentator, so
It was just weird.
I'm just gonna leave that to them. That's what they have to talk about something. So I'll let them do what they do, and I'll just do what I do. We know for a fact it does work. That
Yes.
the rangefinder, obviously not in big events we can't use it, but the rangefinder does work inside 50 meters. So
yeah.
let's wait.
I'm wondering if you're, I mean, sort of blending into two things here. Obviously, we'll have a quick chat about WA Open where I spent some time with you, but your approach on the fourth and final day of that WA Open was very much like, let's attack, and if we finish T30, ultimately it doesn't matter, because what's the difference between a T10 and a T30, right? I'm wondering what your approach was going into the final round yesterday. Obviously, you come out bogey the first hole, not the ideal start. Does anything sort of change? Like, are you just in attack mode from the very beginning?
Well, the goal at the start of the day, I said it to my coach, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it well, I thought, so I could have done a better job. Was committing to, well, the last 6 holes was good because I committed to every shot, but it was 100% commitment to the shot. You might miss some putts, you might shoot a couple over, but the thing was, like, because it was so windy, no one was going to go low. So I'm like, if I just shoot under par, I don't care how I do it. If I just shoot under par, I'll have a chance. Someone has to play either Phelps plays solid, shoots 1 under, I shoot 1 under, he wins. But and we'll go into it later about it kind of felt like a little bit of match play, but yeah, and the first don't know, I just think 4 or 5 holes from a few meters off the green, off the second, did a bogey on 6 from green side for 2. I left it in the bunker, didn't make up and down the next one. Then on 11, green side again, 40-meter pitch shot, hit an awful pitch shot to about 30 feet, 3-putted. Next hole, it was a very uncommitted swing, hitting the bunker. Lie was not great. Obviously, hit in probably one of the worst spots you probably could on that hole. Downslope, made bogey. And it was a good thing, because it was a good thing that there was a weight on the next tee, because I could vent in my head. I couldn't vent. I couldn't go off me chop because cameras around, there was people around. It would not be a good look. But I try not to keep it bottled in. So I used to, and it just builds up, and over time you just crack. You're done. So I've learned how to let it out in my head, and if that's like a pinch on the arm, or if that's just like an internal, like, fuck you, you are that shit. Like it for some reason, like, that gives me, like, it wakes me up a little bit, and I just had to be more sharp. And then the last 6 holes was probably as perfect golf as I could probably play in the conditions.
It's interesting you mentioned the emotions, because I guess there's 2 sort of like types of golfer, right? Like one that sort of has this just calm, it's fuck it, whatever, let it go, it doesn't really matter. And then there's others that are quite animated, and I'd probably put you in that second category, like we saw on 17. And there's pros and cons to both, right? Like, so it's just interesting to, when you observe different golfers up close and you see how they go, and they get frustrated with a bogey or a bad shot or whatever it is, they kind of fuck, and then move on, and then other people get more animated and wear their heart on their sleeve a little bit more. So yeah, interesting observation. But maybe if we cast our minds back, I don't know, what was it now, 3 months, 4 months since you were last here in WA? Had the
Longer. Like
was it?
months.
When was
Almost
6
7 months?
months?
No, it was in April.
Oh my days!
Almost in November.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, 6.5 months.
That's gone quick.
That has gone very quick. Had the great pleasure of caddying for you. That was a lot of fun. I missed out on the Saturday. It was prior commitments, so
Yeah,
very poor commitment to the cause from your caddy here. But give us your feedback. We need the review on the show to get the honest feedback, how it all went from your perspective. You need no feedback is bad feedback.
No, it was good. It was awesome fun. And what I like in a caddy is just someone we can chat to, have a little bit of banter, have a bit of fun, because like I've experienced it and a lot of people experience it. Like golf's hard. Golf is a grind. Like the reason why, for most of the people, the reason why they play golf is because they love it. And like what we did for those 3 days, well, we caddied for me for the pro-am.
Yeah.
But like, what did we do? We had fun. Mm-hmm. And what happened when we had fun? We played well. I didn't play great on the Saturday for the last 13 holes. There was just a little bit of mishap on the par 5, and that kind of stunned me a little bit. But like, we played solid. We didn't really hole many putts. That was kind of the story of the season. But we're both chirpy. We both had fun, and when I feel like when you have fun, that's when the golf is at its best. And if you're grinding too hard, and like the struggle, I've been through it. The struggles is shit.
Yeah,
it's the worst. You feel like you feel claustrophobic. You don't know what to do, because you never experienced that bad of golf. Like I didn't experience that bad of golf since I was in like my teens as a junior. Like I couldn't stand on a hole, and I couldn't tell you exactly where I was going to hit it. Where now I can, like I can tell you a rough idea, but like either the thing was going miles right, straight left, and like trying to work on it, and then trying to play, it's like it's brutal, and like it. Like to try and get out of that, it's a tough one. So like there is times where you hate the game, which like, but then you gotta, and then that's where you got to dig deep, and you got to try and find why did you start playing? Well, enjoy it. What did you do as a kid? I did this, did that, and a lot of chipping comps, sort of like putting comps. Played a lot of holes, all that kind of stuff. And then once I started doing that, I'm back.
Yeah.
Nothing. There was no like there was a few feels in the swing that I used to have when I was playing well, and I just referred back to that, and I'm like, okay, like that's what it felt like. Okay, I can hit that shot. But like then now competing, you're like, oh, okay, this is fun. Like now I'm like, with the boys at Cranny or Peninsula or Metro, it's like, let's have a chipping comp, let's have a putting comp. When the boys are around, and when they're not, like I try and make internal games, like trying to hit like 10 chip shots in a row from around the green inside 5 feet or inside 4 feet. Just trying to make it competitive, because that's what makes me love the game. And yeah, and then going back to those 4 days, like we had a lot of fun. It was great. So thumbs up.
Good review.
5 star.
5 stars. Jeez, 5-star
go.
Uber rating.
That's it, mate. You're the only one. You've only caddied for me, haven't you?
Yep, that's right.
So there you go. You're 5. They're 5. There we go. Bang.
100% strike rate.
get your platinum. Get your platinum thing, eh? That's
yeah. It was, and I think like, obviously, when we kind of teed it up, I was like, I don't really know what my role here is, right? I was like, I'm just going to carry the bag. And you hear all these stories. It's like, all you want out of a caddy is just shut up and speak when spoken to. And I was kind of like, I didn't really get that vibe from you from at all. It was more like, we just talk. I think we were talking about cars for a round, and we were talking about all this other shit for plenty of time. And Min Woo was there one day practicing, and you ran over and said g'day. It was just it was very different sort of than what I was potentially expecting to go into a professional environment. And I was like, oh, okay, Mick is pretty relaxed here about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And when you were relaxed, you played really well.
Yeah.
And then when maybe you made a bad swing or missed a putt or whatever, and then it just kind of compounded for a couple of holes. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to step in here and say, oh, what are you doing tonight? Like something like that. And just try. And I felt like that was my role. And I hope that I helped in that sense.
Well, yeah, you did well. Because there was a couple, I'm trying to think back at some of the rounds. There was a couple loose swings. But yeah, like you took my mind off of that. That's the main thing. And then, like, after a while, like you learn as you go. Like, I feel like every tournament you learn something. Like, if you don't, then obviously I feel like you're not getting better.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't play as well as the week before, like, or like you have to learn something. You have to work on something that will make you better for the next week and all that kind of stuff. But all the cliche kind of stuff that people say, it's legit. Like, yeah, you have to look at the negative sometimes to make it a positive. So yeah, no, it was good. It was good. 5 stars.
And you're back again for the WA Open this week. WA Golf Club. Have you played out there before? Do you know the course? What are you expecting?
No, I only just saw from the putting green and the chipping green. Tree lined, which I like. Get to shape driver a lot, which is really cool. That's what I like to do. Kike surrounds, I like kike. Greens look amazing. So it's going to be a low scoring week unless the wind picks up. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to coming off a win and what that feels like. What are the perks and obviously and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to playing and hopefully going back to back. I said at the Dunhill, I had an interview after the round. I feel like I think I said I feel like I can do some real damage with the way I'm playing, and it might sound a bit cocky to some people, but at the moment that's the confidence in me at the moment that I'm playing probably the best golf of my life so far. Can I get better? Yes. There's a lot of, like we said about the last round, there's a lot of little things. There's a lot of good things. So obviously got to have a look at that. But there's a lot of things that under pressure, a lot of my tendencies, all that kind of stuff. Just looking forward to like a new week and trying to win again and then hopefully win and try and win the next one and yeah, it's just it's cool. It's a good time. It's a good time for the season to start because I'm playing very well and I feel like I can get better and better.
It's gonna be a good tournament out there. I'm gonna try and get out there. You obviously cop a first hole 220 meter par 3 as well, so it's a nice opening hole at WA Golf Club. I went out to the Blitz golf event last year and watched Matt Miller hit driver off it, and I was like, yeah, like that's probably what I would have to do as well. But no, it'll be a lot of fun out there, and fingers crossed for another good result for you, mate. And would really appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, it's been a busy 24 hours for you. Soak it up, enjoy the rest of the week, and good luck for the WA Open.
Appreciate it. Thank you.